Hey there, welcome. Today, we are going to talk about the pros and cons about living in Denver. And while I love living here in the Mile High City, it's not for everyone. So by the end of this video, you'll be able to decide if Denver is the right place for you. But before we get started, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up, and please feel free to drop me any comments below. I will reply. Also, hit that notification bell so that you are notified every time I come out with new content. And please be sure to share this with a friend. Let's get going. All right, so let's take a look at the positives first. The pros of living in Denver. Well, Denver has great public transportation. So if you are arriving in the Mile High City without a car, keep in mind it does snow here in Denver. It's not crazy like East Coast winters. However, we do get snow. But just wanted to let you know that public transportation in Denver is quite good. There's plenty of light rail trains. There is plenty of buses as well. And the light rail goes all the way to the airport, and it's not very expensive. I believe it's $12 one way. The light rail also goes out to many of the surrounding suburbs, so it's pretty easy to get around Denver and its surrounding areas. All right, Denver has great sports venues, and they're all pretty close to one another. So whether you want to watch hockey, basketball, baseball, or football, it's all here in Denver. In fact, we also have the Colorado Rapids, which is a football team, soccer team. So we've got just about everything here, and the venues are all really nice, really clean, and fans are amazing. Great nightlife in Denver. Denver has the 10th largest downtown in the United States, and it has so much to do. There's something for everybody down there, whether you like the clubby sort of fist pumping vibe, or if you just want to chill out with a nice cold IPA. There are plenty of breweries downtown as well. It's a really happening place, and you're never at a loss for something to do here in Denver. Denver has an excellent food thing. There is something for everyone here. There's not only something for every budget, there's also cuisines from around the world. We have various styles of pizza. We have Ethiopian food. We have great Chinese, great Thai, Japanese, Indian, and there is so much concentrated here in the city of Denver that you don't have to look very far for some amazing and unique food. There's also great, interesting concepts. We also have great ice cream as well. We have Little Man Sweet Cookies, which I believe are the same. We have Ice Cream Riot. We have Sweet Cow. So I don't know if Denver is like an ice cream city, but if you've got a sweet tooth, we've got tons of artisanal ice cream for you to choose from. Arts, culture, and museums. You know, Denver is, never really compared to, cities like New York and LA in terms of its art and culture. But one, may I remind you that we have Red Rocks here, which is the best music venue on the planet. Usually when I've gone to concerts there at Red Rocks, the performer usually comments on how it's their favorite place to perform. So not only do we have Red Rocks, we have tons of museums. We have the second largest performing arts center in the world. So Denver is a really sophisticated, global kind of community that really loves its music, its art, its museum, and its history as well. Denver has some really interesting history going back to the Wild West. I mean, really they say that Denver is where the West began, but this was a hot spot for gold mining in the mid to late 1800s. So we've got a lot of history here. There's a lot of culture here. Colorado is big on the arts, and we've got a lot of culture here. Getting to the airport is easy. Denver International Airport is a big airport that services passengers from all over the world and all over the United States. And it's only 30 to 40 minutes away from downtown, depending on traffic. So to get to the airport, you're not going to have to spend an hour or two in the car. It's very convenient. And in addition, it's great for me because my wife's family lives on the East Coast. My family lives on the West Coast. So pretty much no matter where we go, the flight's under 3.5 hours. So it's a very convenient place to live if you have family spread throughout the United States. One of my favorite things about Denver that's a major pro is that people are open and they're friendly. I've been to a lot of cities in the US and you get this sort of cliquey sort of vibe sometimes, this, hey, let's size you up, let's see what you're made of, where I think everybody in Denver seems very down to earth, very open to having conversations, and very, very friendly. So while Denver is a big city, it's still got that sort of Midwest sort of chill vibe where people are just kind, nice, happy to talk, and that's one of the things I really love about Denver. Now, before we move on to the cons, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel, if you went and gave this video a thumbs up. Also, please feel free to drop me any comments, I will respond. Share this video with a friend and hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time I come out with new content. All right, now we've all got to be honest with where we live. No city in the United States, and maybe no city in the entire world, is perfect. So let's talk about some cons about living here in Denver. 1. Homelessness and crime. Over the last couple of years during the pandemic, homelessness in Denver has increased 60%. So if you stroll around downtown enough, you'll see a lot of homeless encampments, a lot of people that are out on the streets. Unfortunately, it's very sad to see this, and it is one of the negative aspects about living in Denver. There's a substantial amount of drug use which goes on in public, I hate to say, in broad daylight. And unfortunately, it seems, as I've talked to a few law enforcement officers, that their hands are a bit tied in terms of doing anything about some of these problems. Also, crime has gone up as well, both petty crime and violent crime, unfortunately. I will say though, if you compare Denver's crime and homelessness to cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago, you'll see that it is safer than the majority of large US cities. All right, another con about living in Denver is the parking situation. The parking patrol is very eager to give out tickets, so if you make a mistake, if you overstay your meter, if you park on a day where there's street sweeping, you likely will get a ticket. So be sure, if you already live in Denver, you're considering moving to Denver, that you always read the fine print on the signs that are posted regarding parking. There's not a lot of parking, especially downtown on busy days. Thursday through Sunday evening tend to be busier days. In other hip areas like Rhino, you'll find that it's very hard to find parking, especially parking over 2 hours. So please be sure to read those signs, read them carefully, because you will get ticketed if you are parked illegally. Another downside about living in Denver is that not all the time, but occasionally we have very poor air quality. So if the wildfire season, which is typically in summer, is bad, wildfire smoke from surrounding states like Arizona, even as far as California, will come over the Rocky Mountains, and since we're here on the other side at a lower elevation, it'll kind of become a pool of smoke. And in that smoke, think about it, it's not just trees and leaves, it's homes, it's people's metals and plastics and tire rubber and all of these kind of things that are burning and getting up into the air. That comes down the east side of the Rocky Mountains and right into Denver. So if wildfire season is bad, the air quality in Denver is very, very poor. Potential droughts. Well, Colorado is not only a dry state. Water from the Colorado River is fed into, I believe, California, Arizona, and New Mexico. So our water is responsible for the irrigation and the drinking water for 3 other states. So while I think we're okay right now as far as water, there is often potential for droughts here in the state of Colorado. All right, another thing, and this is something as a real estate professional I've had to deal with, is special assessments on older buildings. So a lot of buildings here in Denver, especially as you get closer to downtown, were built in the mid to late 1800s. So there are a lot of structures that are well over 100 years old, and oftentimes the city will basically say to the landowners of some of these, the landlords of some of these larger, older buildings, that they have to do a remodel, they have to upgrade plumbing systems and electrical systems, and the cost of those things will often be placed on the people that live there, so they'll have to basically pick up the bill. So we've seen condominiums that have special assessments of $30,000, which can be financed. However, this creates a difficulty if you're in a condo and you're trying to sell it. You either have to pay that assessment off in full, or you've got to pass that along to your buyer, which they're not going to be very happy about. So keep that in mind. All right. And at times, Denver, like any major US city, can be kind of loud. Denver does have a train yard that's quite big, so there's a lot of train traffic into Denver. So you'll periodically hear pretty loud train horns, stuff like that. We've also got motorcycle gangs or groups, whatever you want to call them, that travel in herds, packs if you will, and doing wheelies on the street at nighttime. It's not particularly pleasant, so it's very loud. If you live especially in the downtown area, you're going to get traffic noise, you're going to get noise from police sirens, ambulance, fire trucks, and things like that. So, you know, you may be an urban dweller already, so you may be very used to the noise, but just want to point that out. If you're looking for peace and quiet, Denver is probably not the place for you. All right, so before we move on, would you be so kind as to subscribe to my channel? Also, hit the notification bell so that you're alerted every time I come out with new content. Give this video a thumbs up, and please, I would love it if you threw me a comment down below. I will reply to every comment on this page. Also, go ahead and share this with a friend. All right, let's get back into it. Denver has high rents and a relatively high cost of living. Now, it's not the highest in the United States, but something to be aware of. Even if you're moving from states like California, New York, San Francisco, you won't find a tremendous difference in house pricing. I mean, maybe your money goes a little further here, but just want to keep in mind that oftentimes 1-bedroom apartments here in Denver, especially if you get closer to downtown, are ranging from $1,800 to over $2,000 per month for rent. So keep in mind, Denver is not a cheap place to live. Another con about living in Denver is the rapid population growth. Reason I say that is because Denver was not really designed to be a big city. So you'll find that increased traffic, public areas are often more crowded, and that's because, you know, the major highway that goes through Denver is only 3 or 4 lanes. So I think that the city of Denver has had a hard time adjusting to some of this rapid population growth. So Denver, if you're thinking this is some kind of small town and wide open spaces, those aren't too far away. But here in the Denver city proper, you'll find that it's pretty congested and there is a lot of traffic. Now, I will say, having come from California and having traveled back to California several times since I've lived in Denver, the traffic is still not nearly as bad. However, I am seeing an increase in traffic and congestion on the highways and in the city streets. So just be advised that the population here in Denver is increasing at a rapid pace. All right, well, I really appreciate you joining me watching this video. But before you go, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time I come out with new content. please go ahead and throw me a comment. Tell me what you think, and be sure to share this with a friend. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you in the next video.